you've kind of ruined my whole understanding of the world. Not ruined it, but you've kind of just, totally did a paradigm shift to me. And I think, which is going to be super fun to talk to you about, but it's like, I've got this mindset of wanting to be my own ProVoice now.
Of course.
Yeah.
And I told you very early on, you should be, I said, the signs were there when you started the program. You were 20 steps ahead of what I had to teach everybody else, so it's there, you get it. Yeah. I think you see the writing on the wall. The future is fractional. There's no going back. There's the money is, that's where the money's going to be. People are going to gladly pay you half of what your salary was for 10 hours a week.
Yeah.
You do that at a couple places, you're making twice what you were making before, you work in half the time, and you're the boss. And quite frankly, they do what you tell them to do because it's an equal partnership. You are not the employee here and they're the boss there. It is this.
Yeah.
And so they treat you different. They respond different. It is a better working model. But for decades, people have been afraid of it because we made them afraid of it. We trained them to be afraid of it, right? Now you're not afraid of it. And I get all the, well, what about benefits? What about this? I go, if you were making 3 times what you were making before, could you buy your own benefits and go anywhere you want? They're like, well, yeah. I'm like,
yeah.
So
it is. It's kind of,
you're not thinking about it,
Yeah, let's get started. Hold on. Let me do an intro, and then because this will be a really fun time. So, well, first off, JT, thank you so much for making time to come and talk to me. As I said, I've been spending the last 8 months, and you've been a big part of this transition for myself. This looking at my last couple of years as a CEO, going into kind of first time being a leader, and then being in a position of having to figure out how to reinvent myself. And so I wanted to put together, not only just to talk to great people who've been and experienced, and you are doing amazing things out there, which I can't wait to get deeper into, but really trying to package together some insights on helping people where they either going to take that next leap or going off and doing something like a fractional role. So what's really fun, what I love to do is, and I've known you, it's funny because I've actually known you for almost 15 years.
Yeah, a while.
Which is a funny story, but I don't know, you then go and Google somebody or figure out, look at your background and holy crap, lady, you've done a shit ton of really cool things, and how much you've actually impacted on the space around recruitment and getting people to think differently about what it means to be valued has been amazing. So I'd love you just to kind of go back a little bit, because I was looking at your LinkedIn profile, and it goes, I had to go to page 2, 3, and 4 to figure out where did she actually start her journey.
Yeah.
But it seems like right around 2001, you kind of made the leap of building your own business. And so love to just kind of find out about your journey. And then I really want to get into what's happening with people today, because I think there's so much change happening. You seem to be tip of the spear and driving that insight.
Yeah. So, I was in corporate America, top of my game, running a $35 million division of a company, tons of people reporting to me, expense account, car allowance, all the stuff, making big 6 figures. And I was working crazy hours. I, had a husband I never saw, a house I was never in, out of touch with friends or family. And I tell the story all the time. There was a sticky note on my desk. Hey, your mom called. She said it's kind of urgent. It was a week old, that kind of thing, just clearly had, followed the quote unquote rules of, just, get to the top and it'll all work out. When I went on maternity leave, I had sort of the epiphany, wow, I'm going to be this little being's teacher in life, and I'm not really liking who I am as a professional. I don't want her to see me like this. And so I ended up making a decision to take the year off and figure it out. And so when I went back and started looking at resources for someone like me, I'm an engineer by degree, super logical, I found everything came up short. And so I started on this deep journey of how do people figure this out? How do you get this far in life, 33 years old, and feel this far disconnected?
Yeah.
As I researched that and took some coaching courses, I was like, all right, I'll go get it. I really discovered that we were kind of trained to pursue this path, and we were on this sort of hamster wheel, and everybody was doing it. And that sparked something in me. Then when I looked at what I loved to do most over the years, I was always the person someone came to when they said, I think I want to leave this job. And they weren't afraid to tell me. They didn't think as their boss I was going to fire them. They understood that I was going to help them get a job. And then I knew exactly who was going to backfill their job. So I started looking at all that together and said, there's a real opportunity here. If I could go help people figure themselves out maybe a little bit sooner and help them do a better job of marketing themselves with my recruiting background, I think I could make an impact on lives, and I think I could have a good time doing it. And so that was really the foundation of going out and becoming a career coach. And it was an interesting journey from 2002 roughly to 2007. I built a private practice all through referral. And it was the kind of thing back then, everyone thought there was something wrong with you if you went to a career coach. So I would like be at a party and people would make fun of me. You left your corporate gig to be like, you know, a coach. And then on Monday morning, they'd be in my inbox like, hey, can we have a conversation in private? So I knew I was on to something. But really, when the recession of 2008 hit, that was the moment where I said, I can't scale myself individually anymore. If I love this as much as I do, I think I need to find a business model that would let me go out and really, you know, make an impact, really teach people the new rules to career satisfaction, not career success, career satisfaction. And so that's really been the purpose and the mission ever since.
And it's amazing. What an amazing journey. And it's interesting because you've kind of gone through exactly what I think thousands of people are going through. And me, I mean, I started this year. I reached out to you after, you know, a few years of, feeling like I had it and it was secure. And I think the realization is just like that false realization of what we have been told we need to do, which is, go to college, get a job, you'll have security, you're going to work at some place, maybe a couple places, and then you retire. And now it seems like, God, it's just the uncertainty of corporate America. One, you can't bank on that anymore. And so I think when I started with you this year on Work It Daily, and the program is so great, and just really the hardest thing. And I think I'd love to, how do I ask this question? The hardest thing for me in the last 6 to 7 months was to define what my value is. So then how have you seen that evolve with, I guess, your career, but your company? Because I think that's probably one of the biggest things that you have to help get people over, is an understanding of what their value is and how to position themselves differently.
Yeah. So you pointed it out. The first thing we do is help you understand you are not an employee. You are a brand. You are a business of one. And if you can start to treat your career as I am the brand, I am the business of one, we can start to pull in other basic marketing and sales concepts to successfully run your business. And we know that people that are loyal to brands, people that adore brands, feel an actual connection to that brand, right? So if we're asking everybody listening to this what their favorite brand is, they could pop it in the comments right now, right? Like a brand that they have insane loyalty to. And when they tell us why, they will tell us with great enthusiasm about all the ways this brand has made their life better, made them feel better. So we know that brands either alleviate a pain or create joy, right? Like there's like that piece. So if you understand that, then you have to realize that when an organization chooses to hire your business of one and you provide them a service, that service must make them feel something. It must solve a problem. It must alleviate a pain. So when you start going, wait, what am I the aspirin to? Right? How do I save the money? How do I make the money? Like what breaks if I don't do it? Like, why do they need me? You can start to crystallize that. And what it does is get you very excited about, all right, I know what value I want to bring. We call it your UVA, your unique value add. And that is a collection of your experience, your skills, your education, all of these things. But it most importantly is how you want to deliver value day to day. And we're all different. So when you work in Work It Daily, we do a lot of assessment around revealing that, like what is your UVA and how does that tie to the aspirin that you can be to that organization. Now, if it was that easy, everybody would do it. And I definitely wouldn't have a job and that would be great. But it isn't that easy. It's why businesses struggle.
But
thank you. Yeah, but businesses struggle. All businesses struggle to find their niche, right? Their brand messaging. So when someone like you comes along who's extremely accomplished, has achieved a lot of things, the problem you run into is that there's a lot of different things that you could market. Right. And so how do we choose a lane? Because the other challenge here is that study after study shows if you don't niche down and if your messaging isn't clear, no one's going to buy. And so that is what we work on.
Right.
But here's the exciting part. When you do discover it, and obviously you have discovered it, something quantum leaps literally in your career, because now you start to attract it. You just keep attracting more and more of that. And it gets easier and easier as you go. But that first phase, I would definitely argue, is the one where it's the most challenging. And I think to some cases people give up, but you didn't give up, and look where you are now.
Oh, I'm trying to rock the Work It Daily program. And I love the new part of what you've created in ProVoice. But let me ask you a question going back a little bit. So it's 2008. You've started Work It Daily, but what was kind of the biggest, I guess, the biggest learning lesson for you? I mean, you've gone from leading teams, being part of corporate America, as a entrepreneur, leader, and boss. Like, what was some of the biggest like lessons learned for you that maybe first couple of years of having to actually be the decision maker and taking on all the pressure of running your own business?
Yeah. So when you work in corporate America, you have way more resource than you ever realized you had.
Yeah.
Right. There's just so much resource at your disposal, money at your disposal. When you start your own thing, you can choose to go for funding. I intentionally chose not to. Yeah. I very much wanted to bootstrap and make sure that I was in control of all decisions, which meant I had to get insanely resourceful. And so those first few years, I made the decision that I would build the business and be agile, but everything would be off the shelf. I'm not going to do anything custom. I'm not going to overinvest. There were no major investments. It was all about, if I want to stay afloat, I've got to build a business model that's sustainable through, being resourceful, not through expense. And I think that was a big shift, but it made me scrappy.
Yeah.
And it gave me a resiliency, which I think the second thing they don't ever tell you, that 2008, we're now almost into 2026, right?
Yeah.
Like, your trajectory isn't this in your owning a business. You have these years, right? I mean, like, no matter how great you are, there are unexpected things that come along the way. And so that scrappiness very early on, I think, has served me well so that I'm still here. Majority of companies in my space, the majority of coaches I started with are no longer doing it. They couldn't survive. They burned out. They couldn't build the business. But I think it was that scrappiness that's kept me here.
Yeah, no, and it's been great. It's been cool, because that's kind of right around when I think we got introduced. And then what's funny, because my wife started her coffee roasting company in 2008, like the month before the housing market crash. So it definitely was a time to, you get scrappy. You have to figure it out. And the ones who do, make it big. So how do you stay motivated to bring your energy? Because seeing your videos, you do tons of videos, you're working with tons of organizations, I see some of the really cool things that you're doing now with LinkedIn and some other companies. Like, how do you stay motivated and excited for not only you, but how do you bring that for your team?
Yeah. So honestly, I wrote the book this year, ProVoice, Turn What You Know Into What You Earn. And ProVoice is really how I built all this. And I think one of the incredible byproducts of choosing to embrace and leverage your ProVoice is that you go out and you start to serve your network. Right? You share your knowledge, you share your expertise, but that's not a one-way situation. What happens is that people engage, they react, they respond. And when they do that, they light something in you. You learn from every interaction. Yeah. And so you just get more curious and you get more ideas, and it fuels you in a way that I've never had before. So this is why I'm so passionate right now of I think we're in a critical moment, right? It's the very bad job market. It is shifting forever. And to me, that means there's a moment to get people to say, I have nothing to lose by not trying to find and utilize my ProVoice. And you all have one. But when I say find, I mean like reveal it, figure it out, put it out there. What it has done for people, the energy they get out of it, the way they're better presenters, they're better interviewers. They're just, it just sparks your brain. It gives you dopamine hits, and you suddenly love what you do because you just wake up and there's always more to learn and explore and to share. And that's what I think as humans we were built to do, but was scrubbed out of us in corporate America. So it really has been just doing the very things that I'm teaching. And it's built a culture where my amazing team, I have 4 full-time employees, they're all the same way. Like, we just all nerd out on this stuff. we each have our lane, and we share it. And it's just every day we're all excited about what we're learning and doing, even in the hardest of times. And I don't think I could have wished for a better environment or a better team, but I think it really comes from that.
Yeah, it's been really cool to see just your energy and excitement this last 10 months, just seeing you launch ProVoice and just I think you're right. I think of anybody that I know right now, I think you're at the right place, right time to be driving this. And one thing that I think you told me this, and so I'm going to give you the credit of saying this, but like, I think a lot of what, when we like being early in, and for one of the first people in the ProVoice is like, one of the first things was just like getting people to feel comfortable with sharing. And I think that fear of not maybe failure or fear of being judged and all of that stuff, I think what's been really cool this last 2 months working in your program is that's not stuff I think about anymore. Like, I'm more excited about sharing what's happening and what I'm experiencing, and getting that feedback back from people is just so great. And I think there's definitely feels like there's a shift with, I think you're right. Like the people that are gravitating to me in LinkedIn are also wanting the same thing. And so it does seem like there's a little pool of goodness that's shifting in LinkedIn and what people are sharing and the reality and the realness of what's being shared. Are you kind of seeing that as well?
I am. So, I always tell everybody in the program, yourself included, if somebody of your friends or everyone's first concern is, what will my friends and family or colleagues from my company think? And my response is, it's not for them.
Yeah.
It is not for them. That content that you're putting out there is for the stranger that needs your advice in that moment now, or needs to be able to have a conversation with somebody like you, right? Like that is why you're doing it. And if someone says something to you that's a friend or family member, say, oh, I appreciate you, but it's not for you.
Yeah.
And it always throws them, right?
I remember the first post I did, I sent it out, and one of my close friends who's kind of been a mentor, he like calls me, he goes, you got to take that down. You look vulnerable and weak and this and that. And I'm like, so I think I texted you and you were like, no, it's perfect. Keep it. And it was my like number one post. Yeah.
Right. So I get it. People want to protect us, but they're also so old school. They don't understand the shift that's happening. Yeah. And so it's very easy for those people to come in and say that. And I was so glad you came to me so I could stop you from taking it down. But that's the first step. What I'll tell you is this, and I think you pointed it out, the moment you start doing this and you start getting that engagement from people, you're hooked. I mean, in the best possible way, in the fact that you suddenly understand who this content is for and why you're doing it. And you no longer worry about what those people think, because again, it's not for them. And so that shift is huge. I think one of the other big things that is going to make this so big, and why I'm very lucky that we were on the early side of this, is October 27th of this year, 2025, just a couple weeks ago, LinkedIn dropped a new algorithm called 360 Brew. 360 Brew is designed to make sure that the right engagement is happening on LinkedIn. And they're doing it because 1.1 billion users on that platform is a large language model. They are using it because they want to try to match the right people to the right people. So what they don't want is people getting on there and saying, let me tell you about what baking my 4-year-old's birthday cake taught me about project management today. Or, they want people talking about their knowledge and their expertise within their industry. They want it to be your career library so that the AI can do its thing and match you to the right people. That brings me so much joy, because I have never subscribed to people treating LinkedIn like it was Facebook or Instagram or TikTok. And you have people doing that. Like, there's one post out there that I think somebody did about Helen Keller, and it is a beautiful post on LinkedIn, and it's had millions and millions of views. And when people mention it to me, I say, do you remember who posted it? No. Do you have any idea what they do for a living? No.
Yeah.
So understanding that LinkedIn is the place where you talk through your ideas, you get smarter in your own career by sharing and collaborating with others. That's what LinkedIn wants. It's why they built this algorithm. And the most important thing is this algorithm does not care how long you've been on LinkedIn. All it cares about is that you are posting this kind of information on a consistent basis and relevant to your role. And so you're going to see an incredible shift in your own content, but anybody that follows a ProVoice methodology is already seeing like crazy results in a week's time. So so that's exciting for us. Yeah.
So good. Yeah. Okay. Back to your journey a bit. So you're sitting down with your younger you, or someone who's coming to you going, oh, well, you get this all the time. What do I do? What's my career voice? I want to start my own business. So what would be some of the things that you, from lessons learned, that you would give them as advice?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing I would tell you is don't overcomplicate it. Most people burn out because they try to do too much. So what I mean by that is like they start this one product idea, then they decide they need the add-on product and this or that when they haven't even established that and built an income stream. You need to really slow it down, keep it small and agile, and get yourself to a place of profitability with what you're doing. Evaluate if you like that, and then you can move from there. Again, I see so many people come in and they say to me, well, no offense, JT, but I think if you could do it, I could do it too, which I take as a compliment. I guess I make it look easy. And then they go do it and they're done within 2 months, they were writing a book and starting a podcast and have this, expensive program and then this thing. And I'm like, how you doing with all that? And they implode, and they don't understand. So you pull it back one thing at a time, and just really make sure that it aligns. I think getting some mentoring and some coaching and making sure that somebody can help you ensure that you are going the right direction can help you as well. But yeah, burnout is the number one thing that I see. And the only way to quell that is to simplify.
Yeah, no, agreed. I mean, the people I've been talking to, it's hard. You got to be scrappy. Like you said, you got to, good is good enough. Like, don't try to be perfect on everything, which I know that was a big part of the course. It's like, get it out there and you'll get better and you're going to make mistakes. And so one last question for you. Like, do you have a go-to kind of tool or ritual that you do to kind of keep yourself motivated? Or is there something where you're like, I always carve out time to do this? Or, is there something that you've learned that's like super important to you to balance your?
The biggest thing I've learned recently in the last 2 years is I just by my nature, like really burn the clock. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just okay, 8+ hours a day, 10+ hours a day. And I've learned that I don't do my best work that way. I have now really committed to blocks of time. There's a 2-hour block in the morning, and then there's a break. There's an intentional break. And then there's another block. I don't think I've ever given myself so many breaks between work, but I've also don't think I've ever output as much work. Do you see what I'm saying? And I am much calmer and clearer with it as a result. So I stopped doing hours for hours sake, and I got very intentional about blocks and breaks. And that has helped me a lot. Yeah.
I've heard that a few times now. Is like, that transition of working on the business rather than in the business. And you need to block your time so you can be creative. And God, it's funny because just knowing you this last 10 months, like the amount of output you do is amazing. But I actually have in the last few months have seen a little bit of a shift where I think maybe that the blocking, because I think the level of stuff that you're putting out is just, it's amazing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. There's definitely been a shift there, and it's been enjoyable, to sustain. I needed those breaks for sure.
Well, JT, look, so excited to have your time. I know you're super busy, and if people want to connect with you, what's the best way for them to get in touch with you?
Yeah, LinkedIn, 100%. Just go over to LinkedIn, send a connection request, but make sure that you mention that you saw me here with Lee. That way I know to accept it. I get a lot of connection requests every day, but if people make a note and tell me where they saw it, and then it's easier to connect with you. So just do that and we can connect.
Right on. Okay. Well, thank you, JT. I appreciate the time.
Thank you, Lee.